It's onepiece daisuke Motti.
Today's topic is this, the true identity of King. So guys, it's pretty much going on in the One Piece world right now, and everyone is wondering who is actually King and what is it all about the Lunarians. In the latest chapters, Oda hasn't only revealed King's real name, but also provided many new hot information about the Lunarians, and my theory today is this. Based on all the existing information and deep researches, I've thrown it all together with the latest info Oda has dropped. And now I've come to the conclusion that the Lunarians, to which King alias Ara belongs, originally used to live on the sun itself, the citizen of Sun. Hold on a sec, citizen of Sun? What the hell? Yeah, I totally understand what you guys are thinking right now, and it's totally legit, but I've gathered logical arguments, no actually evidences to make you convinced, so don't say, nah, not worth watching, just watch this video until the end. Maybe at the end you will think, maybe he's not bluffing. Then subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Now let's get started, the true identity of King. Let's go.
It's onepiece daisuke Motti. Next.
In order to reveal King's true identity, I want to bring your attention to monsters. You probably already know that it was a preliminary work of Oda. The plot is about swordsman Ryuma and that there is a close connection between Ryuma from monsters and One Piece. I guess that's the level of knowledge you have. Actually, Oda didn't just leave us the secrets about Ryuma in this work though. Swordsman Cyrano. Do you all remember this guy? This guy was the villain of the story, but where did Oda get the model of Cyrano from? The model Oda was referring to when designing Cyrano was an historical swordsman from France, Cyrano de Bergerac. I mean, Cyrano is a very special name, and besides the similarities that both of them are swordsmen, Cyrano de Bergerac has that D in his name. You can be pretty sure that Oda took reference to Bergerac on purpose. Cyrano, who was both a swordsman and a famous writer, wrote a novel which leads us to the true identity of King. This book is the key to my theory. Again, Cyrano was both a famous novelist and a swordsman. Now, in order to reveal King's identity, we cannot make this certain book of him unmentioned. A Voyage to the Moon. The true One Piece fans among you guys have surely felt a sense of tingle when reading the word moon. This adventure story actually belongs to one of the famous works next to Gulliver's Travels or The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, but you've never heard of it, right? But of course, this book was published in 1657, 70 years before Gulliver's Travels has been published. For those who's into such kind of adventures, this may be a well-known novel, but for the majority, it's a mysterious book we've never heard of. Oda takes inspirations from all kinds of genres, either Japanese animes or international tales, and applies these into One Piece as homage. If so, it's reasonable that some ideas from A Voyage to the Moon was applied as fundamental storyline for One Piece. Now let's take a closer look at the story Voyage to the Moon, which allows us to dig into the core of the theory. A masterpiece by Cyrano de Bergerac, A Voyage to the Moon. Obviously, this novel is a fiction, more of a science fiction story. Let me tell you the storyline in short. It's a kind of science fiction vlog, and in this, the protagonist of the vlog is Cyrano himself, telling what happens to him during his adventure. Cyrano always has dreamt to go to the moon. He struggled to find a way how to get there, and the method he has chosen is hot air balloon. So Cyrano has managed to heat the air in the balloon and finally took off into the sky. With a lot of back and forth, he finally managed to reach the moon. The creatures that awaited him there were an old man, an angel, and therianthrope. Yep, in this book of Cyrano, it contains some essential elements that we already know from the cover story Enel's Great Space Operation. First of all, the hot air balloon. The robots that were created by Dr. Tsukimi on Karakuri Island, their way how they got to the moon was also with balloons. Even though it seems like they were using usual balloons instead of hot air, the link between the two stories are quite obvious. The old man. In the first place, Dr. Tsukimi himself was an old man, but the robots that he built and the robots that have already inhabited Birka, they all have a white mustache, which makes them look like little grandpas. This scene here, which seems like just an unimportant scene, can be perhaps translated as Cyrano meeting an old man. And then there is the angel that controls thunder. We even don't need to discuss here. Even if Enel is not an angel, we can more or less treat a god and angel as equal. That therianthrope. Obviously we're talking about the mink tribe here. They can undergo a transformation by looking at the full moon, becoming a Sulong. Even if we don't have much information about the mink tribe, we know that there is some kind of close connection between the minks and the moon. So far I've explained how One Piece and the voyage to the moon are connected and that Oda was clearly inspired by this novel. But we are here today to reveal King's true identity and the truth about Lunarians. And to my regret, in the novel there's not a single character who has either black wings or flame-conjuring body. Why then do I claim a theory about King being a citizen of the sun? That is because there's another work of Cyrano de Bergerac, the sequel of Voyage to the Moon, and it's called A Voyage to the Sun. I know, I've been talking around for a while, but now I want to tell you what is behind this second part of the story. A brief summary as follows. Cyrano, who has returned to Earth from his journey on the moon, his next destination will be the sun. The sun, however, is a glowing hot world and it's surrounded by solar flares, which makes it difficult to enter. But on some dark spots of the sun, Cyrano has found out that it's possible to survive. Avoiding the solar flares, Cyrano finally reaches the world of sun and there he encounters a terrestrial of birds. Or rather, a terrestrial where birds speak the human language and try to kill intruders. I won't go into more details here, but in this terrestrial of birds, there's a significant encounter between Cyrano and a certain creature. And this creature is a black wings and white feather owning bird. There it is. The Lunarians that Oda has created possesses black wings, white feather and dark brown skin. Aren't these clearly the deformation of the bird Cyrano encounters in the voyage to the sun? This is the conclusion that I came to. King is a former inhabitant of the sun. Now to conclude, I'm gonna show you some hints Oda has dropped inside the story before that underlie my theory. The ability to thrive in any environment. This is what Queen said. Even if the Lunarians were beings that could survive underwater or in the air, it would be way too far-fetched to say in any environment. And even if we added the outer space on top of that, people would probably say, yeah, Enel can that too. But what if the Lunarians who used to live on the sun could even resist any kind of heat or fire? Perhaps the experiments that world government conducted on younger King in Punk Hazard were something to research his resistance to heat. "Those flames are like magma," said Zoro when he fought King. Zoro realized that the flames from King's body are far more hot than usual flames. For your note, the average temperature of magma is about 1000 degrees and the surface of the sun about 5000. Perhaps it also indicates that the Lunarians are originally coming from the sun. Solar flare. Maybe that's a well-known term for the universe geeks among you guys. What are solar flares? These are explosions that take place near the dark spots of the sun, the so-called macula. This can be related to the mysterious explosion when Zoro fought with King. If you look closer at this scene again, you will see that this explosion happens immediately after Zoro's sword stabs King. Considering that solar flares happens due to magnetic changes near the maculas, you can assume that an explosion takes place as soon as you bring any metallic objects near King. Flame conjuring race, black wings, white hair, ability to survive in any environment, flames like magma, explosions. Almost all the open questions about the Lunarians can be so easily explained by a single novel, A Voyage to the Sun by Cyrano de Bergerac. If there's still someone among you who dared to say it's all just coincidence, for those who are still questioning my theory, I'll give you a last proof. To find out King's true identity and the mystery about Lunarians, I referred to monsters. There was the main character Ryuma and his enemy Cyrano. But there's one more important character. You remember the girl? Her name is Flare.